Hello, I'm Dean van der Westhuizen. I'm an ophthalmologist, eye surgeon working in Nelspruit, and today I just want to discuss intraocular lens implants, the pros and cons of the different types of lenses. So you've been diagnosed with a cataract, you're having surgery, and the surgeon is going to implant a lens. I want to go through the basic concepts of the different options so you can make an educated decision on what is best for you. So let's get into the different concepts to start with. So I think it's important just to understand that in any scene that you're looking at, there's different distances or ranges of vision. You've got your distance vision, which is over here in the distance. You've got your mid vision, you've got your intermediate vision, and then you've got your near vision. So this is kind of 20 to 30 centimeters. This is kind of 40 to 60 centimeters, and then this is far in the distance. And it's important to understand that this scenario is not possible unless you are young. So this is the young eye. You can focus on the distance, you can focus on a computer, you can focus on near, you can focus on your phone quite easily. And that is because the intraocular, the lens inside your eye, the natural lens, is able to focus from far to near. Now, when we implant a lens in the eye, it's impossible for us to recreate this scenario, and so there's going to be trade-offs. So I'm going to explain what those trade-offs are, and so you can make a better decision on what lens to choose for yourself. So let's first talk about a cataract. A cataract normally looks like this type of scenario. You have a decrease in the focus, both in all distances, far, intermediate, and near. And there's normally a color hue, a yellow-orange color hue, and contrast changes, especially at nighttime. One starts to see halos and glares around light, and fine print becomes more and more difficult, and the ambient light becomes more important to actually see well. But once you've been diagnosed with a cataract, the only real option is surgery. So the first lens that is probably the most common lens implanted is your monofocal IOL. So this is a lens, and this is the scenario after surgery. The cataract's removed, and you have this scenario here. And I think it's important to just see that your distance vision, distance to near, distance to mid vision is nice and clear. You can see beautifully in the distance. But as you can see, reading this book here or this computer might be a challenge if you've got a monofocal lens in the eye. Now, that's relatively easy to rectify. One can just put reading glasses on. With the reading glasses on like this, you can see your near vision is nice and clear, but now your distance vision is not clear. And so by taking your reading glasses off, you can see and drive, and by putting your reading glasses on, one can read. And this is a scenario a lot of patients are used to, especially our patients in the 50 or 60-year-old category. They're used to wearing reading glasses. And so they're very happy. They can see clearly. They just require their reading glasses for near. Now, I think it's important to understand that your monofocal lens is going to give you the highest fidelity vision. It's going to give you the best contrast, the best color, the best focus out of any of the lenses. So if you're someone whose priority is quality and high fidelity vision, you don't want to make any compromises, then this is the lens for you. But on the flip side, you will then require reading glasses for near. So although it gives you the best quality vision, and if that's your focus, then I would definitely go for a monofocal lens and then have reading glasses. The other option that one can do with a monofocal lens is something called monovision. So monovision is essentially doing something different for each eye. So for one eye, the dominant eye, let's say the right eye, the eye that you would normally shoot with, you would set that for distance. So your distance vision is good in that eye. And in the other eye, the non-dominant eye, you would set that focus nearer. So one is able to see nearer with that eye. And so to try and simulate that here, you would obviously have one eye that was like this, good focus for distance. And then the left eye would be focused for near. And that, so if you combine those two images, obviously I'm switching between those quite quickly. That's not what happens in your brain. Your brain kind of amalgamates those two images on top of each other, and so you get closer to an image like this. You initially, it may take some time to adapt to it, and some patients struggle to adapt to it 100%, but most do. And in this scenario, one can see in the distance and one can see near, and your need for reading glasses is very limited. So that's monovision. So let's take the monofocal lens again, and I just want to show you, you might have heard or might read about an EDOF lens, which is an extended depth of focus lens, and that's essentially a type of monofocal lens. And if I show you the difference between a monofocal and EDOF, you might not immediately notice the difference. And essentially the focus with the EDOF lens is distance, but then you see your intermediate vision is a little bit better. It's got a slightly longer range of focus. Now your ability to read will probably still not be there, and one can do monovision with an EDOF lens as well. But it's a lens that gives you an extended depth of focus, but doesn't really allow you to read clearly. Maybe at long arm's length, maybe at about 50-60 centimeters, one will be able to read, but comfortable reading is not possible with an EDOF lens. And so that's when we come on to the multifocal lenses. Now, as I was saying, the monofocal lenses, as we've been showing you, give you the best quality and clarity of vision, but your need for glasses is higher. If I take a multifocal lens, the scenario is a little bit more like this. So I'm going to switch between those two. There's a monofocal and there's a multifocal. So if you look at the monofocal reading distance versus a multifocal, you can see your ability to read on a computer and in a book or something near your phone is there. But you can see you lose a little bit of contrast. You can see the contrast and the clarity that one gets with a multifocal is not quite the same as a monofocal lens, but your ability to read. You get different types of multifocal lenses. This is similar simulation to a geometric lens from Hoyer. And one also gets something called a geometric plus, which is a multifocal lens with a more focus on reading. So if I just show you what that looks like, this would be a geometric plus lens. You can see your near vision is now much clearer. Your ability to read is good, but your intermediate has suffered versus your geometric lens, which is a more focus on your intermediate than on your near vision. One can place the geometrics in one eye and geometric plus in the other eye, and if you combine them together you get the advantages. It's almost like doing monovision, where you blending the two eyes to get that focus from far to near. That's also a possibility. So I think it's important to understand that the difference between your monofocal, which gives you the best quality vision, but your near vision is limited, to your multifocal, where you may get a limitation in contrast. In certain lighting conditions, things may be more challenging, but your ability to read without glasses is much, much better. The other issue with multifocal lenses is they often have problems with halos and glares. So what I mean by that, normally, typically at nighttime, around lights, one can get halos and glares and starbursts. So if nighttime driving is a priority for you, then you may find this frustrating. So just to summarize, I'm just going to go to the back. So this is your scenario with a cataract. Once the cataract's removed and you have a monofocal lens placed in the eye, this gives you your good distance vision, but for near you need your reading glasses. One can go for monovision. Monovision is when you have one eye for near like this and one eye for distance like that, and blending those two together you get a depth of focus from far to near. Your EDOF lens, or your extended depth of focus lens, is a monofocal lens, but it's designed to try and extend the depth of focus slightly so that your intermediate vision starts to become a bit better. Then you have your multifocal lenses, which can be either the geometric or geometric plus lens, which allows you to have focus from far, intermediate and near, but one does sacrifice contrast. Certain lighting conditions may be difficult and you may have an issue with glare and halos. So that's just a summary of the different type of lenses. I think all of them are options. They all are trade-offs. None of them are perfect. And so trying to choose what works best for you is what's important, and that's the idea of this video. One last thing to mention, if one is going to go for a monovision type of vision, normally we would recommend doing a contact lens trial, because we are able to simulate this with a contact lens. Put one contact lens for far, one for near, and allow you to get a good idea of what that feels like and if you're comfortable with that prior to doing it. But that's something we can discuss more in a consultation if necessary. I hope the video has been useful, and yeah, good luck with your cataract surgery.